Okay, so start getting your supplies in order and start organizing them. You can start putting together packets if you want to. I would wait until you started to talk to the person in charge. That was a big thing.
So we can do Velada and Cincy together
Is the fundraiser.
if it's a fundraiser, but if we're doing a basket party or home party, we can't do.
Yeah, you can do them together. You just cannot put the orders in together. You know, so like if I have a fundraiser and they've sold $800 worth of Cincy and only $200 with Velada, yes, I'll have to put them in separate parties.
Right. Oh, I didn't know that. I thought we couldn't. Okay.
So I'll have to put them in separate parties, but the PRV is all the same to me.
And
you know,
each party has to have at least 150.
yes.
Oh.
At least to have $150 to qualify as a party to get the free shipping and everything.
Okay, so
The only thing that we can't combine is a booth, correct?
Yes.
You have to have either Cincy
Yes, the
or
only thing
Velada.
you cannot combine is a booth. You have to have either a Cincy or a Velada booth.
Food, I knew
Yes.
that.
Right. I
So
think
other
that's
than
the
that,
only.
you can definitely do combined parties and things. So, okay, so at this point, your organization has contacted you and said, you know what, I'm interested in doing a fundraiser. And so what I do is I say, great, I'd love to set up a meeting with you and discuss it. And so when I sit down with the person in charge, I bring in an example of my packet. And I go over the packet with them, and I say, you know, there's very important information you need to know from this meeting. Number one, you have to know how many participants will be doing the fundraiser. You might have 10 from a ball team. In this case, I had 40 for the church. So you need to know how many people are participating in it, and then that kind of tells you what kind of expense you're going to have in the supplies and that kind of thing. So I sit down and I talk to the organization and I find out specifically what would you like to do. You know, and most of the time they're like, yeah, whatever makes us the most money. In this case for White Memorial Camp, because they did just Cincy last year, I'm throwing in layers and Velada. It just gives them extra something to sell, new stuff to sell. And I love it because I love doing repeat fundraisers because it's easy for the organization to go back to the people they originally sold the Cincy to and say, hey, I'm doing another Cincy fundraiser. Do you need some refills? And so it's a wonderful way to generate business that way too. So anyway, okay, so you definitely want to find out how many participants. That's going to tell you how many packets you're going to need to make. And then also I have this letter that goes in my fundraising packet. And this letter just basically explains how my fundraiser works. And it also has a little breakdown of the profits and what can be made. So it just basically says, you're going to get, and in this case, this is my letter, I customize it to myself. I give 25% of the commissions. If the fundraiser goes over $2,000, I give 30%, which is my entire commission. And I do this because it's a great way to get my name out there. And also, when I offer 25 to 30%, you know, we as a fundraiser, since he's competing with like the candy bar companies or the gift wrap companies that give 50% of profits back to the school. So we have to, or the organization. So we have to make it enticing for them as well. If you only say, well, you're only going to get 10%. Well, 10% of $1,000 is $100. You know, I mean, I don't know that everybody in the organization is really going to go out and bust their butt for $100. So you have to make it enticing to them. And that's kind of how this little chart breaks down. And again, I will email this to you. Everyone will get this. In this chart, it says if you have 10 participants at 25%, if each person sells at least $50, the organization will get $125. Now, it does break it all the way down to here that says if you have 40 participants, each person sells $200, the organization can get $2,400. Well, then I also have $8,000 in PRV. So with that, if you have $8,000 in PRV for 1 month off of one fundraiser, then you're really going to get any incentive you're out to get. You'll definitely get high sales in our group. So I'll pass this around. That's another thing that you need to discuss with the person that's in charge of the fundraiser. And that I would always make sure that you're talking to one person, not a group. because you're going to need that one person to, you know, you need to be able to get a hold of him or her and discuss certain things. So, and that's another thing you can discuss is your percentage, the rate that you're willing to give away. There are some people that give away 10%. There are some people that don't give away any percentage, but they will give the organization free warmers or free bars. I've also heard of people not giving their commission, but giving a set amount on a debit card. So like a lady I had talked to before, she said that what she did was she said, okay, well if your fundraiser is $2,000, I'm going to give you a $100 Visa card. I thought it was kind of crappy. But, again, I do the full percent. So, yes, it is a lot of work to do a fundraiser, to give away all of your commission. But I will tell you, I never do a fundraiser unless it's during an incentive period. Because that's the only way that it's really going to pay off for me. I shouldn't say the only way, because there's other benefits to the fundraiser. But as far as PRV and giving away my full commission, it's really when it counts. I want it to be when it counts, and that's when we're in the middle of an incentive period. So you definitely want to, find out how many participants, discuss the percentage that you're willing to give away, and also you need to set dates. You know, you don't want to just have an open fundraiser that lasts 2 or 3 months, because then the people that are ordering the stuff want to know when their stuff is coming. So I suggest not leaving a fundraiser open for longer than a month. If it's any longer than that, people tend to forget about it, or the packets get lost, or the orders get lost, and that kind of thing. So I definitely highly recommend no longer than a month. Okay, and then also, did I send that letter around? Yes. Okay, so have an initial meeting, find out that information, and then set up a time to do a second meeting with the organization, the head of the organization. A second meeting is when you will deliver the packets. And at this point, depending on the organization, if it's a baseball team, you could try to get all the parents together to do a parents meeting, because more than likely that's probably who's going to be selling it anyway. Give them their packet, and at that time you can also maybe even set up a table, explain some of the products, because we're still such a new company. There's still a lot of people out there that have never seen Scentsy or don't know what Scentsy is, and if they don't know what it is, it's kind of hard for them to sell it. So at this time you can set it up, you can even get your scents out, get the parents excited about it, and also depending on the organization, you'll want to decide on any additional rewards, not just the cash you're going to give back from your commission that helps the organization, but you might think about doing some seller incentives. So let's just say you have a baseball team that's going to do a fundraiser. You might think about doing, I know like in Dawn did a fundraiser, and one of her things was that she offered, and it was for a baseball team, she offered $25 gift certificate to the highest seller to Dick's. And so in that case, you know, maybe they could go get a new baseball glove or something like that. The 3 highest sellers. So that's another thing you want to talk about with the head person that's in charge of the fundraiser. So this is all information that if you get it all out in the open, it makes the fundraiser go a lot easier to the end. Okay, so on that second meeting, you're going to deliver the packets, hopefully talk to the people that are selling it, and use that opportunity to get them excited. You know, get them excited about, let them know the more they sell, the more money they're going to make for their organization. You know, if you just drop off packets and say, okay, here you go, good luck, you know, more than likely people will look at the packet and go, I'll just call grandma and see if she'll buy anything. But if you get them excited and you can do an incentive for each seller or something like that, then you can get them, you know, even more excited about it. So, okay. So you've dropped out the packets, now you're waiting for them to sell. If you have your fundraiser open for a month, about halfway through you're going to want to try to get in contact with the head of the organization and just kind of check in, see how things are going, see if there's any questions. And then about a month later, you're going to pick up all the orders. And like I said, in my case, I'm having them deliver back to me, and in the letter it says, you need to have them delivered. We are closing this out on June the 1st. So, so of course they're going to mail them back to me. So, but in this case, you're going to pick up all the orders and go through them. And of course, put in the orders into your workstation. Go ahead and like I said before, if you have a $1,000 fundraiser, split it up into 2. Or if you have a $2,000 fundraiser, split it up into 4. Okay, and so that kind of leads me into another reason why you could do fundraisers. I personally don't give my free and half price items away to my people because more than likely, what is the head of the organization going to do with 17 half price items, really? I mean, you know, that is how I built up a lot of my stock leading into the Christmas season. And then for the Christmas season, I was able to sell all of that free and half price stuff and have extra money at Christmas time. So, you know, your fundraiser is going to get you bigger returns if you think about it like that. Now, every once in a while, it depends. Like, I shouldn't say that I never give it away because I did one for a sorority here in town, and that was my seller incentive. My seller incentive was the top 3 sellers get to pick out a warmer and 3 bars of their choice. But other than that, I kept all the rest of the free and half price items for myself. That's my payment in giving away all of my commission. So what you're going to do is once you get on the orders, you enter them in, you put in all of what you want in the free and half price stuff, and any seller incentives, you know, contact the seller that did have the highest sales and let them know, you know, what they're going to get or whatever. And then after that, you kind of wait for the stuff to come back. And in that, while you're waiting the 2 weeks to get your stuff in, and it's going to be a little overwhelming if you get $2,000 worth of stuff in one day. You know, it's going to take a lot to go through it and organize it and everything. But I highly, highly recommend you, the consultant, going through it and organizing it. Again, that's another big perk. There's a lot of the other organizations out there, like the candy bars or like the wrapping paper and all that stuff. It all just comes in one big box to the school, and then the school has to go through it and separate orders. So that's another good reason that I try when I'm talking to the organization, and you'll see in one of those letters it says, you know, hey, I'm already going to pack it, I'm going to separate it, I'm going to double check all the orders for you. And so that's such a big deal to the people that have, you know, 50 people that they're going to have to turn around and give an order to. So while you're waiting, you can get your stuff done, like print your labels, because you're going to, of course, label everything that comes to your house, and everything is going to be delivered. So go ahead and print your labels. In that fundraising bundle, or you can buy these separately. These are the little thank you for participating cards. I love these because it just says on the back, when you're ready to reorder, or if you're interested in hosting a party, please call me. So of course I have my information on here. But I put this with every one of the fundraising orders, and it just lets them know, you know, it says, you helped us raise blank for blank. So that way they can, they know that they did help, and you're recognizing that they helped an organization. So I'll pass this around. I love this card. So that's something that you could go ahead and get those wrote up ahead of time before you get that big order in. Okay, and so then you get your stuff in, and you're ready to separate it all. I highly encourage buying a couple bottles of wine and having your girlfriends over, or having your Scentsy team over to come and help you sort it and separate it and pack it. And at this point, I also recommend putting anything you possibly can. Get your Buy, Host, Join brochures out. If you have little coupons, if you want to put a little, thanks for being a first-time customer, I'd love to give you 10% off of your next order with me. You know, anything like that, because they're going to be so excited they get their Scentsy stuff. They're going to read everything that's in there. So it's your opportunity to approach a new customer without actually having to approach them. So you're going to want to definitely put anything you can in there, even a free little sample, you know, and again, to not make it so overwhelming, have this stuff done in advance. So that way when you are ready to start packing those orders, you can. So what I did was, for every person that turned in their envelope to me, I put their stuff in, I marked them a certain box. So because one person might sell 10 orders. So they had a box, and it was marked Brandon, or whatever, you know, or Rita, or whoever sold that stuff, it was in their box. So that way when I went and delivered it to the organization, I could say that all of this stuff, this box goes to Brandon, all of this box goes to Rita, and it's completely sorted for them, and it's so, so, so easy. And then also what I like to do is I love to close out the order before the end of the month. So in this case, I have them make sure that the orders are to me by June 1st. but I'm really going to close this party out on May the 31st because I should have all the orders before then anyway. So I'm going to close the party out on May 31st because that way I know my check will be here with their